What's up, everybody? This is Jeff Moore, currently serving as the CEO of ICE. And before we jump into today's episode, let me take a moment to introduce Jane, the clinic management software and EMR that so many of us in the ICE community use and practice. Change is a normal part of clinic life. Maybe you're expanding your team, introducing new offerings, or growing your client list. As your clinic evolves, it's important to have an EMR that not only supports those changes, but also grows with you. Jane's new Balance, Practice, and Thrive pricing plans offer flexibility, allowing you to easily switch from one plan to another depending on your current and future needs. There's no long-term commitment either, just simple month-to-month payments that let you focus on running your clinic. And with every plan, you get features like one-on-one telehealth, email appointment reminders, and unlimited support. Visit jane.app/pricing to find a plan that fits your needs starting at $39 a month here in the US. And when you're ready to get started, use the code ICEPT1MO to sign up for a 1-month grace period on your new account. Thank you so much and enjoy the show. Dude, Joe, what's up, man? Good to have you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. This is awesome. It's the real deal now.
Hell yeah.
It's a lot better than staring at my phone that's propped up on like a tissue box or something like that.
This is how it was always meant to be.
I think so.
We always start with a question. The question for you, sir, is best milkshake of your life. Location and flavor.
Best milkshake of my life. Well, first off, it's got to be a malt because malt's certainly superior.
Unpack that a little bit.
Yeah, this one's tough because I've had this conversation with several people. And
It's been contentious,
and a milkshake is sort of the starting point, and the malt is just a little extra flair. But when you get down to asking what is a malt, like it is its own identity. Like you can't describe it as anything other than a malt.
Yeah.
It is a flavor, like we were talking about earlier. Yeah. Chocolate is chocolate, vanilla is vanilla. A malt is a flavor. It's a flavor, and so certainly got to be a malt. I got to go back to my my hometown roots. There's this place called the Texan, and it was one of those 24-hour diner style restaurants that it had a rule that it was open 24/7 until they shut down, probably because they were losing money and stuff like that. But 24/7, if you didn't get served after like a certain point, like sitting there 15, 20 minutes, whatever it was free. And so you're always, as like a teenager, just like, hey, take your time. But yeah, they're old fashioned, metal cups. Their malts were great. There's nothing fancy about them. It was just old fashioned.
Any mix-ins or just straight?
These are traditional malts. Like you're getting chocolate. You're getting I think they had like a mint chocolate chip, vanilla, your standard flavors. It's more the nostalgic feel of it that just it's and the way that they put it in a nice vase like glass, but then they would leave you the extra in the metal cup
for sure.
So I mean, I've had a lot of them though, so I just got to go back to my hometown roots. Though I think
for those listening, though, no longer an option. It's that
Texan closed. Yeah, don't go look for it. They had 2 or 3 locations.
And they're all done. It's done.
Yeah, I think it was like a privately owned, like family-owned style restaurant. There's 1 or 2 in Bay City, Michigan, 1 or 2 in Saginaw area, and they slowly dwindled. And I think it was their principals that caught up to them. But also people would get robbed.
Uncompromising in the malt space.
Oh yeah, but pretty solid. Yeah, pretty solid. Like I'm not into the super fancy, fluffy stuff that you get at these bougie areas of Phoenix or something like that. They're cool when they stack it full of stuff, but I just need a metal cup and a good flavor and a little extra malt in there.
Fantastic. Yeah. I mean, normally I would say go try it, but it's not in the cards. It's something that once was nostalgic. If you had the chance, good for you.
Yeah, if you were a native to Bay City.
If you were lucky enough.
Yeah, I've had some good memories there at the Texan. So,
dude, let's jump into it. We're going to talk about success in private practice because as a profession, there's a lot of doom and gloom out there. There's a lot of reimbursement rate cuts, et cetera. You're in a unique space where you're 100% out of network, no Medicare, no Medicaid, no third-party payers. I mean, legitimate 100% out of network. And you're not in LA. You're not in Charlotte. I mean, nothing against Grand Rapids, but it's not one of those cities.
It's a big, small city.
It's not a massive metro area. It's not Atlanta. Because I think one of the things people say all the time is when you're having success in cash base, but you're in Atlanta. You're in Denver. That's hard to say that about Grand Rapids. And yet here you sit. We were talking last night. You got a handful of how many employees now?
6 including me, so 5 total, 5 employees.
And like you said, outside of one of them that started last week,
right?
everybody is as full as they want to be. So, I mean, you're looking at an operation where you've got multiple locations, you've got a bunch of people that are as busy as they want to be, and you're in a town where that excuse most folks have doesn't really exist. And I just want to unpack what you think is behind that. And when I was alluding to it last night, you said, Jeff, I think a lot of it is about not missing the human piece. Like as a profession in school, we're so focused on individual techniques, thinking those are going to result in success. I guess, can you just start on that soapbox of kind of what you mean by that, how you blend those two worlds, and maybe how it's contributed to the success?
Yeah. I think the phrase that I used was humans over techniques.
Yeah.
And I really think that it's a gut check in our profession, because we spend most of our time learning, diving into the didactic curriculum stuff when we're in school. We get out, we're looking for Con Ed courses like at ICE where we want to crack a neck, do a thing, whatever it is. But ultimately, if you can't connect with people, the people that you're typically serving don't know what you're doing, why you're doing it. You might be great at educating them along the way, but ultimately they care about, do they trust you? Do they get results? And I think that the brain behind the human is probably the most important part to be able to attack. And it starts from day one. It starts from the connection you make when they walk in the door. It's finding some little tricky thing that, their shoes, their pants, their whatever, like their car that they pulled up in with, man, it's instantly I'm thinking, what can I do to make this person want to spend time with me? Yeah. Because ultimately that's what I'm looking for, is I'm looking for their time. If they can give me their time and I give them my skill sets down the road, the success will come. And there's a lot of little things that go along the way with it, but you just can't undervalue the piece of getting into that patient's brain and just connecting with humans. And some of it's natural, some of it can be worked on, but it can't be overlooked. You can't overlook that aspect of it.
So when you say some of it can be worked on, I guess the first thing I think when folks hear this is dude, is that coachable? But you brought on a bunch of people, everyone's doing well.
Yeah.
Do you literally coach that? And if so, can you offer any insight into what that might look like?
Yeah. I mean, all my employees, I feel like even as I was bringing Sarah on, my new recent hire, Sarah, I've used this example. I felt like I had to help them all in uniquely different ways, but they all had a little bit of innate ability to do the thing already. And I think that's important when you're looking in the hiring process. And I told Sarah, it was funny. We were starting my newest hire, Sarah. We were starting day one. I was I don't really know a bunch about your clinical life yet. And I never asked you. And a lot of people would be like, damn, that's stupid. That's what you're doing, is growing this business. But yeah. I truly met her, talked to her, and there was something about her that I was like, she's going to figure this out. Mm-hmm. I'm not worried about the other stuff. We can get there. Yeah. She got the personal side down. So, and then you look at some of my other employees, I feel like a couple of my employees are super, super detailed with the clinical side. I think I knew that they had that, so it allowed me to focus and shift my attention more. So I believe that your employees can be versatile on either end of the spectrum. It's my job to figure out where I can come alongside them. But to answer your question, can you coach the people skills? Mm-hmm. You can certainly bring awareness to it. I do think some of it is innate, and how people do that is going to come across different. But I've had the conversations with, my employees. I remember talking to Hondo, one of my second or third hires, a South grad kid, ICE guy. Yep. Clinically, I was like, you don't have to worry about this stuff. You are only a few years out, but you are excelling at a level that, from my experience, when I look at this, especially the physical therapist down the road, dude, you're crushing it. You're crushing it.
For sure. And
I was like, what I want you to do on this next eval is I want you to find something about them. Find something about them right off the get-go. And it was so cool to see him say, okay, I got some bandwidth for this now. Come out and hey, John, how's it going? Dude, that car you pulled up in is so sweet. I've never seen that color. Where'd you find it? Tell me about it. And they go off in this conversation. They mosey on their way into the clinic. They're into the room. And for those first 2 or 3 minutes, it's just cutting tension, making that person feel comfortable and confident they're in the right spot, that, man, this guy really cares about me as a person. And then we get into, hey, tell me about that back, though. How's it been doing? And how's the programming been going for us? Can we dive into that a little bit? And it just makes that such an easier process there. So you can coach it. It may not come natural to people, but when you have one or the other skill set already, you have the clinical side or you have the people side, it allows you to shift your bandwidth and your attention to what you're going to focus on. At some point, the 10,000 hour, 20,000 hour rule clicks, where it's just some of this stuff becomes who you are. It's natural to you. It's definitely something we can address and work on.
I know you can't give me an exact percentage, but I'm going to ask for one. Techniques, interpersonal skills, human connection. Someone's success. 50% depends on techniques, 50% on what are the numbers?
I'm going 75-25. I feel like, dude, that especially in terms of long-term success. Like, I'm not telling you that if you are just doing hocus pocus that like people will come back. They do need results, but man, like I'm telling you that I've had a hard time getting rid of patients, and sometimes I think it's because I put too much time into becoming connected with them.
Yeah,
and they just like, man, I feel good. Do I have to go see Joe? Maybe not. But I don't mind going to see him. Like, and I kind of like that. And I know that eventually that connection is going to allow me to dig into a level of personal, like, maybe personal things that might impact their overall recovery, where I'm like, man, you just sounds like your life's been crazy stressful. Tell me about this. Like, because we've been chasing this elbow pain around for some time now. And it was knee pain before, and then the elbow's back again. And like, I really trust what we're doing right now. Tommy, like it's gotta be something else. Can we talk about what's going on in life right now? And it's like, when you've already established that connection over weeks and months before, Tommy's like, yeah, dude, I think I'm ready to talk about this stuff. Like life's been difficult. Business has been up and down. These tariffs are coming out after me, whatever it might be. Totally. Like, dude, we get it. Like, things are challenging right now. And I want you to understand that I hear you, and that this is a part of it. Like, we're not doing the wrong stuff right now. We just got to do a little bit more to help you as a human out here and figure out what we can do to calm this stuff down. But we're going to work on this together. And I feel like it just feels way more genuine than, coming in and just being like right to the point. Tell me about your pain. Tell me what's going on. How can we fix it? Like, if you're too much of a machine, people feel that, and you might miss that opportunity to connect later on.
It's so interesting what you said a moment ago, because it's so, I don't want to say antithetical to what we learned, but like you made the comment in passing a moment ago of like, what you're asking for is these people's time, and what you need is their desire to spend it with you. That if you're someone fresh out of school, that is not talked about. What an interesting perspective of like, that is what we're asking for, especially once we're talking about them footing 100% of the bill. Like we're trying to manufacture an environment where they not only don't mind, but like to spend that time with us and those resources with us. And it's really interesting to zoom out and think, man, most people coming into practice have given that no thought, like from that angle. Where did you bump into this realization? Like, is this naturally you get business that you knew that was the counterpart? Was there key podcast? Where did you come up with this?
I wish I could say that I'm a figure it out type of person. I wish I could say that I'd sit down for hours, read the articles, do these things. I do love podcasts, but I'm often not listening to like the BetterHelp type of podcast. I listen to podcasts because I want this massive sort of thesaurus of stories and interesting things that I know that eventually I'm going to be able to connect with somebody on. Like, I'm doing it to just gather information, and I'm listening to everything, random stuff. My wife thinks I'm so weird because I have too much shit in my brain, but I enjoy it. I find it so fascinating, but it's not that. It's not how to grow your business. Like, I don't spend a ton of time doing that. I think it came out of necessity, in that I think that I put myself years ago in a position where it was like, sink or float. You want to do this, or you're not going to do physical therapy anymore. Like, you have one option, Joe, and it's to go do it the way you want to be doing it and build this practice the way you want to do it. And if it doesn't work, then we're going a different direction. And I didn't want to leave. I just wanted to do it better. And so I was like, what do I got to do to get people to step away from their typical comfort zone that, using my insurance, the person down the road, my doctor says I should go here. What do I got to do to show people that I mean business with them? And I figured out that the one thing that nobody else is doing is listening to the person right in front of them, truly spending time and listening to the person right in front of them. And like, I was like, I'm going to do this. And all of a sudden I'd catch myself 20 minutes into a session. I'm like, we haven't talked about anything about this elbow yet. Like, I don't know anything about it. I'm going to flip the switch now. We're going to the elbow. But wow, the fact that 20, 30 minutes goes by and we're just shooting the shit and people are paying me money for it. I was like, people need people like in their life. They need a little third party every now and then. And like, I was like, okay, now I got to hone this in. I got to get that first 5 to 10 minutes of my session is let's be people. And then let's get to business.
And then flip that switch.
Yeah, we're going. And then that's where the clinical stuff absolutely matters. Like, my mentorship with my employees is always coming back to how can we make that session even better? How can the experience be better? How can what we delivered be better?
Yeah.
And they know up front, like, hey, we're going to be people right now. And so we got that stuff out of the way. They're working on it. They're naturals. Some of them are naturals at it. Like Jolene, my first hire, like literally I hired her because I didn't have to worry. I was like skill set wise, she honestly was lacking confidence. That's the only thing I had to do is be, Jolene, you're a rock star. Yeah. I tell her that she's a rock star. She is. She's fucking great.
Yeah.
Sorry about the
just
F-bomb.
Needs to hear it out.
She needed to hear it, and everything else. I would sit in my room and listen to her and like. She's got this person.
Yeah.
And they're coming back, and it's never an issue. It's just, even then when you're trying to build the plan of care, you sell the long-term approach, people are just like, this person trusts me, love me. Like I'm doing whatever they're telling me has got to be the right thing for me. I'm not even going to question it. It doesn't feel cokey or anything like that. It's just so solid. So I think I put my back to the wall and said, sink or swim, figure something out that no one is doing. And what it was that I felt like it was easy to get people to continue to come and see me was like, they just like spending time here. Like, totally. And I like it too.
Yeah.
And then it makes it even better when the people in front of you, not only am I helping this person, but I generally value my relationship with my patient too. And at the very worst, it just starts to be like, man, I got to make sure I continue to separate that boundary of like, hey, I'm still here as their professional. They're looking for a specific skill set, and I'm gonna over deliver every time I can. But it allows me to do it with a lot more flexibility and a lot more agility because of that human connection, I think.
Now, the only pushback, the only place I'll challenge you on this, and then I want to move on to owning our expertise, because I know you've spoken to that in the past as well. But before we do, the one thing in my mind that's clicking is like, I don't know many people more skilled than you in the clinic from a strength and conditioning perspective, from a programming, a coaching, a manipulation, a needling. You have you've done the reps, you've come to you did the work.
Yeah.
Are you sure that you're not, maybe I should say it this way. Do you feel like your interpersonal skills gave you the same advantage they do today when your skill set maybe wasn't quite as developed as it is now? Or do you think now you feel this way so much because your skill set is so robust that you're almost like not giving it the credit it's due because you're taking it for granted? I guess I'm kind of asking that for all the new grads who are out there of like, dude, I learned from Joe. He knows I don't have those skills yet. There's no way that my interpersonals would get the job done. Do you think there's some level of bias there?
Like, you're asking, am I undervaluing my clinical skills? And that might have been the ticket to success.
Because you've gotten so used to having them. Are they a bigger part of the picture than you're giving credit for? Because you're almost taking them for granted at this point. Like, oh, I'll crush all that stuff. Because
Well, maybe. And this might be part of the, we got to step up as experts in our field and trust what we're doing is the right stuff. I think I've always had a lot of confidence in what I'm doing, but I haven't been doing this for a decade yet. It's 8 or 9 years or something.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it's not like I have a bajillion hours of clinical care. I'm very confident in what I will tell people to do. I trust that. I do have background in strength conditioning, and I really believe that at the end of the day, I can fix a lot of pain by getting tissue stronger. So that might be part of it. Maybe I was good at loading, dosing, programming early on.
Yeah.
But also, in a way, I almost feel like it's the opposite. I almost feel like because I had this interpersonal connection, it bought me time
to develop some of the other,
more
to
skills.
Get competent in some of the other areas.
And then you're an unstoppable force.
Yeah.
They're just truly investing in me and they're giving me their time and their money because it's an undeniable experience that they're getting in healthcare that they haven't had before. And then I developed this massive skill set that I could be like, just close the door. You're not looking for anybody else. I don't know. I really don't.
Yeah, fair
question. Don't know. I couldn't tell you.
I swear I'm going to move on in 1 second. So you're saying you came in with these interpersonal skills. Do you have any tips for other people to develop them? Why did you come in with them? Was it I always think bartending helped me a lot in the clinic because I was really good at talking to people. Did you have something in your life you did that allowed you to kind of walk in with that part already so finely tuned?
I think I got to be vulnerable here and tell you. Truthful answer is that growing up, I was ultra competitive. Sports were my entire life. Okay. And I was a good athlete. I played hockey at a high level, was playing varsity sports as freshman, even at big school. But I was always looked at for who I was, structurally, great athlete, little undersized. Can he do it?
Yeah.
I truly believe my personal skills came because I was compensating. I wanted to show people that I was powerful and that I was confident and that that I owned who I was. And I can honestly tell you early in my life, it was a compensation. It was a huge compensation. And it came out to be one of the best things because I don't care now that I'm 5'4" and whatever. I have a 5'10" wife. She's beautiful. She's intelligent. I have a son. I have my own business. I know life can be good. It's not about what I look like. And honestly, now that I'm out of athletics, nobody questions what I can and can't do anymore. But at that point in my life, 14, 15, 16 years old, was being looked at as like a potential Division I hockey player, going to a lot of these prospect camps. Joe, you're a great player, great player. How tall is your dad? You know, like how like what's your parents like? Are you basically
are you gonna bump
grow?
Up? Yeah.
I am the same size now as I was in 8th grade. I was a big meaty 8th grader. And then 9th grade, same. 10th grade, same. Like I was strong, I was athletic, but the height never came with it. And I was like, man, if this is what people are looking at, I gotta show them that I'm bigger. And I used to have people tell me, parents and my friends and coaches of me, that we need more people like Joe. He walks in and he owns this room. It wasn't authentic at that time. When I first started, it wasn't. It was like I felt like I had to show off, because otherwise I felt like people were just going to judge me for something at that point in my life, which was the most important thing in my life. And I can honestly say now that has allowed me to become the confident person that I am, though. Like that's the most truthful answer.
Dude, great freaking story.
I've told a few people about this. It took me until I was probably in my mid to late 20s to recognize that I was that bothered by it. And sometimes I feel like, oh, you know, like the old high school athlete story, but everybody who played sports cared about him. And I'm not saying that I cared more than other people, but I can tell you at that time of my life, because of the attention I was getting, I remember my senior year in football, Max Prep guy comes up to me, first game of the year. It's a great game, awesome game. Ask me a question. What's your plan? What are you doing in college? You playing sports? I was like, man, this guy finally sees it. Literally, like the title of the article was something like big game, small, like it essentially like this kid's pretty good for his size, that kind of thing. I remember, what the fuck? Like, are you kidding? Like, in his questions, I never felt that way, but I just remember always just having the chip on my shoulder. I was like, I guess I'm just gonna have to be somebody that everybody wants me to be. And now I am that person, I feel like, truthfully.
Dude, what a great story, too, to show that it is trainable. Whatever the reason might be. It's a developable skill, and people need it. Because, I mean, that does seem to be the secret sauce, especially in this next generation of our profession, like being able to own that space and have that confidence, create these relationships. That is, I mean, like you threw out 75-25, those were big numbers, but that is going to be a massive player in being successful in this next version of PT.
Yeah, and I've seen, when I worked in even like in network PT, sometimes I was early on in my career frustrated by the person next to me who I felt like really wasn't clinically doing anything. And like, I don't know if this buddy, I had a great time with this guy named Darren at Spectrum Health.
Shout out Darren.
Yeah. I hope you're listening to this, because truthfully, he was one of my favorite people I ever met. And there were sometimes I'd sit and watch him with like these 80-year-old women. And I was like, Darren, you haven't done a single billable unit of anything yet. But these people are getting better and you're enjoying your time. He would sit in his stool with his hand on his knee, just chit chat. And he was a big buff, muscular dude, nice hair. Yeah. Like he had the whole thing. I'm like, he's not like, I'm not saying he wasn't capable of being a good physical therapist. He just get lost in the day. Yeah. And I was like, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh shoot, Sally, like we got to get going here. Hop on that bike for a few minutes. I got to get my next patient going. Sally's just like, I'm doing great. You know, can I come and see Darren 3 times this week? Like they all loved it. And it was like, man, I was like, there might be something to this.
Dude,
like,
my brother's the same way.
Is he? Yeah.
He's thriving practice back in Michigan, you know, and has always done the requirements, you know, of basic competence, but he'd be the first person to tell you, like, he has not devoted his career to refining his skill set. He just loves people, and the whole community wants to come to him. And, you know, the clinic can't stop growing, and it's fascinating. And I think what really, and like you said, the secret sauce is like, if you can work on that as you take these years in school developing skills and then chip away at further refining that competence while you're doing the and not or combination, you're unstoppable.
Always. Yeah, and not or always. And I think the refining of the skills is there too. I think our profession struggles with too much answers, too many possibilities, too many systems, too many thought processes. And you know, whatever it is, you got to buy into the thing that you really truly believe in, hone in on that, fine tune that stuff, have that skill set of being a people person. You're going to see good success, I think. So there is certainly a proportion of skill that goes into our job, and I'm not undervaluing it. I've put a lot of time into it, and I literally spend part of my career making sure people do a better job at that. Yeah. Nothing like, you know, we have an opportunity for Fitness Athlete Live today, and out of the 8 hours, about 0 of it was spent on people. Talk, you know, it was like, how do you become a better clinician? How do you coach better? So there's certainly huge value behind that. But I'm not going to let it seem understated either.
For sure. Yeah. And I mean, I'm hearing the same thing from other folks who are having success in a space where there's consequences, where you're asking for direct pay, where people are giving you a lot of time and money. The human part is highly relevant. Yeah. Let's talk a bit about how we position ourselves in the patient's eyes and the community's eyes, because you've spoken a bit about our struggle sometimes to put respect on our own name and to really act the part of what we have to offer. Can you talk to that a little bit?
Yeah, I think, even this comes down to a little bit of fear and confidence. I think I remember going through school, and I just feel like I left school thinking everybody in the healthcare world, insurance, liability, other physicians, they're out to get us. Like, we got to make sure we're pleasing them and doing all these things. And then it just takes away from your ability to focus on the person in front of you. And it takes a little bit of confidence to say to yourself, like, I have a goal. People are coming to see me for a reason. I've done the highest level of education in my field. Like, at this point, everybody's coming out with a doctorate in physical therapy. Who is the better expert than us? Like, nobody. So we need to step up and act like that. And I think we want the respect, but respect isn't given, it's earned. You have to do something too. So how do we earn that respect? I mean, it could come in so many ways, but I do believe it starts with our patients and giving them an undeniable experience where you stepped up for your patient, you get great results, you just speak confidently to them, you accept their thoughts and their beliefs, you talk to them about your thoughts and your beliefs, you mold together, and all of a sudden, again, because of some of this people-to-people connection, it starts to feel like, man, this person's really hearing me, they're really understanding me. I'm going to take Joe's word on what he was suggesting about how I recover from this injury or this surgery or whatever it might be, versus the old sort of stuck spot that we're in where it's just like, well, my doctor said this, like, and it's like, well, okay, I guess we stop here then. Like, if your doctor said it, then we go with that. Yeah, even though your doctor said, hey, go to physical therapy, my doctor said this other thing, so I'm going to listen to them. And it's like, that's not the physician's fault. It's our fault for not stepping up and honing it. And I struggle with this because, like, on a personal standpoint, I've just owned it. I've just, like, I said, I'm not going to do this anymore. Like, I'm not going to let people walk over me. I'm not trying to say this in a disrespectful way either, but it's just like I put a serious amount of time into becoming a good clinician, just like we were talking about. It's not all the people stuff. I spend my time looking at strength conditioning, movement mechanics, loading people, understanding all of that. And so if you're going to ask me a question about the human body, about pain management, about loading tissues, there isn't anybody else out there who can speak to it the same way I can. There are certainly people on our level, like as other physical therapists, but the general practitioner down the road, there's things that I'm not going to speak on that they're doing. They're managing medications and other disease processes that are out of my field. But if they're sending you to come and see me because you have low back pain, it's my job. It is my job to do everything I need, despite what other people might tell you. You don't do it in an arrogant way. You don't come across as aggressive. It's got to be that mutual kind of clinical, pearl of being able to take what you know from research, what you know from clinical experience, and what your patient is standing in front of you saying and thinking that they're believing, and blend all that together. But the thing we can't do is back down. We need to step up in that situation. I really, truly believe that. And I don't know that I have a magical answer on how to do that, other than it starts with whoever you're looking at in the mirror. Like, no one else is going to do it for us. Like, if you want the respect in the community, then you got to put some effort into deserving that respect there too.
No one's coming to save you.
Nobody is. Yeah. And I don't think it's out of disrespect either. I just think that other professions trust themselves.
Yeah.
And so when the patient says, doc, like, what do you think about this knee brace? Doc's like, hey, you have to be wearing this thing. Like, it's the best thing for you, even though we can be like, well, there's no research. There's nothing. Like, that guy was confident. And so the patient was like, he seemed pretty confident. Yeah. I'm pretty confident. It's the right thing. So own. That's where it's like, we need to step up and be the experts of our field. Like, I'm done looking for help. Like we've put our time in. Like, we have the people around us. We have professionals who have put all the work in. We can learn from them. We can learn alongside them. And it's like, it is our job now to take ownership and just do that.
And dude, what's interesting is all the years I've had in practice, I've never called a physician and been respectful and said, hey, doc, I know you had mentioned this. Here's what I saw in my eval. Here's how it's going with the patient. I love to go this way. Here's why. I don't have docs screaming at me. Yeah. In fact, a lot of times they're like, well, great. It sounds like you really know what you're doing. Yes. I was trying to guide them, but it sounds like you really have a great plan. Well, let's go with that.
Yeah. That early, that's what I mean. Like, some of it I think was instilled, at least, I don't think that it was meant to be fearful, but it was just like, like, you need this referral first. You need these things. Like, these have to be in order. If they're not in order, then you just kind of twiddle your thumbs and wait for your role to step in. And it's like, I think we can step in early. And the same, like, I think if anything, when there are conflicts, because you've established some confidence in yourself and some proof that you get really good results, and if you're communicating with other professionals, like, you can have this disconnect, and you can have, a good discourse on, I really think it could go this way. like, but it then ends up feeling more mutual and peer to peer. Otherwise, I just feel like we're just like children looking up to our parents, like, sorry, like, is this okay? Can I do this? Like, and I just think that ultimately is a disservice to our patient, because these people are either coming directly to us and or being sent to us, not to somebody else, to us. So take ownership. Like, you gotta be the one to do that.
Dude, now that you say it that way, it gives me a big spark of hope. Like, you're kind of on the edge where you spent a couple years in that referral space where you were sort of twiddling your thumbs if you didn't have a referral. I spent a bunch of years in that space before direct access got so much more commonplace. But you think about therapists coming out now, a lot of them, new grads, might be listening to this and they walked right into a full direct access environment here in 2025 and beyond. I've got to wonder if there's going to be other barriers, but that might not be one of them. They might not feel, so there could be a really nice benefit to our next generation that they don't have that kind of predisposed notion of like, I'm under these people, because they aren't interacting quite in the same way you and I were.
Right. And you said predisposed notion. I think that's the ticket too, because I don't necessarily think it's actually real. Like, I'm sure there are, stories and one-offs of like, this surgeon's quit referring patients to us because we disregarded his protocol or whatever. Like that's a bigger problem that is not on you. That's a person who probably has their own insecurities about the way things are going. But like when I did spend time in a big hospital system, I wasn't necessarily twiddling my thumbs waiting for referrals because they were constantly coming in. But I swear, Jeff, I did the same thing that I did with my patients now. Oh, I worked in an integrated care facility at a big hospital system. So we had our outpatient like sports med facility. There was orthopedic docs downstairs. And for whatever reason, I don't know why, whatever reason, I was like, I kind of want to be friends with these guys. Like, I kind of just want to get to know them. And there's this guy named Kevin who was like the ortho PA who basically managed all the patient care besides like obviously executing the surgeries and stuff like that. But I'd walk downstairs in between patients, or it's like I had a client who's got, some mild like, hey, we might be dealing with an infection in this incision. I'll keep you posted, Kevin, via like message. And then all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, this incision looks perfectly fine. And I got 15 minutes. I'm going to jot down the stairs and be like, Kevin, what's up, man? Like, he's like, oh, what's going on? I was like, hey, Johnny's looking good, actually. I was like, I don't think we have to be too worried about that. Oh, great. He's like, yeah, we see him tomorrow. Like, we'll make sure it's good. I'm like, yeah, you guys are going to be fine. Like, I think we're doing the right stuff now. Like, keep it up. Almost giving, we love what you're doing down here, man. Like, my job's becoming pretty easy. Like, let me know what I can do for you. If you got someone new coming up, like, try to come bring them up and introduce them. I'd love to meet them before I see them after their surgery or whatever. Yeah, let's do that. And it's the same stuff. Like, I think I've always been doing the thing of trying to connect with humans, because at that point it's hard to piss people off. Like it's just like, it's undeniable. Like, this person just,
I like that guy,
even if he's a jackass, it's like, Joe's all right. Like I won't take that offensively. And so I think it's just part of my personality to do that. I don't want to think I'm actually like an overall like people pleaser. I like to play the game a little bit and just be like, this is fun. I look at it as a challenge, and like, I did like my relationship that I gained with some of these doctors, but then it was like, basically, hey, Kevin, is there something specific that I need to be telling you? Or if you're all hands on deck with me, like if you trust the fact that if I don't talk to you, things are good. He's like, yeah, dude, like, he's like, we're busy down here. He's like, if something's a problem, like, let's figure this out together. But if I don't hear from you, I'll assume all things good. I'm like, perfect. Yeah, and it's like, and it was basically Kevin's like, do your job. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's what I want to do.
Joel, let's transfer this conversation over to the gym space, because you've had so much success there. I mean, in Grand Rapids, you all have numerous relationships with gyms that are wonderful, not just referral sources, but legit relationships where your patients get set up in the right gym environment. A lot of their folks, when they're having issues, can come to you and have those problems solved and stay in the gym. How do you blend this taking ownership of your expertise with going into these environments and not putting them out, where the coach and the owner of that gym wants to be in charge too? How do you walk that line where you're being assertive enough that you're not getting walked over, you're owning your space, but also you're not putting the coaches and owners in a position where they kind of feel like you're almost trying to go above them, for lack of a better way of saying it? With all of your gym success, any tips or insights in the thought in that space?
Yeah, it can be a tough one, and I think that it's truthfully like respecting all professions and what their skill sets are, understanding what their programming looks like, what their goals are, what their demographics look like. That's super helpful, because sometimes there are coaches who are running a class of 12, 15, 20 people, and sort of like the understanding of like, I'm like, man, like that's tough. That's tough. Like you seem to be rocking it. I just took a class with you. Like, this is so fun. You're killing it. And then, really giving them some positive vibes there, but also then recognizing like, man, like, how do you feel? How do you feel about your ability to dial in on some of this coaching? Like, we do our best. And I wish that I could spend one-on-one time with all my gym members. You start to get into your coaches and stuff and see like, okay, they're aware of their strengths and their weaknesses, often due to maybe the setup of the fitness. And then it's just like making sure that they're always included in the process. And so that way, when you've already set some transparent conversations about your goals, like, to my coaches and my fitness people, is like, hey, my number one goal, truthfully and honestly, is not to be a leader in fitness per se, running like classes and programming and stuff. Like, my goal is that I'm looking at our community and trying to keep people as healthy as possible and as pain-free as possible at their performance at the highest level, so they continue to show up to the gym and do the thing they love doing every day, because all I hear is good things about your gym, and the way you're doing this. And so I truthfully believe that. I look at my day-to-day schedule. As much as I love fitness, like, I'm not coaching like Babcock does. Like, I don't have that connection with the gym. So my job is to facilitate coaching when necessary and communicate really crystal clearly with these coaches about, hey, working with Alex today on that back squat, things to be looking a whole lot better than they were before. He said he's been working with you on a couple drills. Everything's rock solid there. The one thing I noted today is XYZ. And then I'm texting coach, say, hey, if you can watch XYZ for me over the next few weeks, that'd be great. It's including them in the process, because truthfully, it's not me just doing it to appease them. It's because I know that if they're involved with it and they trust me and I can trust them, that the feedback that the coach and I have ultimately lead to the most optimal experience for that patient of ours. And that patient is the mutual connection. We're both benefiting from some way and also trying to help this single person right in front of us. And it's the best way to do it. So I think transparency is important. Clear communication is important, understanding your skill sets and their skill sets, but also sometimes the demand. Like, there are coaches out there who know that they could be doing more on somebody's technique, but because there's 16 other people, it is basically making sure we are managing this class as best as possible. And that is their role at that time. It's like, they're not always doing one-on-one stuff. So I think it's just understanding that whole environment, and I think including them is crucial, so that they are a part of it, because I need them to be a part of it.
So many of our students, and I'm speaking to ICE now, but really they're your students in the fitness athlete division. So many of them ask, should I coach? Do you think that's necessary to build this relationship? Do you recommend that PTs get more into the actual formal coaching space to create these connections? Or do you feel more like just being a member and being about it and sweating on the floor is plenty good?
The sweat equity is undeniable. I think people respect people that they suffer with. Like, we did a workout today. You're on one knee afterwards. Coleman's got his hands up. I'm dusting myself off. And it's like, well, no, we did this thing together. Like, I'll do whatever I got to do with these people. Like, it's sort of that blood brother thing. And so sweat equity is non-negotiable. Like, you got to be there. Do you have to be a coach to get clientele? No. You should probably be a coach to become a better physical therapist.
There we go.
Yeah. And so, like, if you're thinking like, man, I just don't know that I have the confidence.
Not like
to
watching
relay.
20 people move or something at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, all of those environments, man, it's like, you want to get good at the thing, the craft. You have to be a great people person to be a coach. You have to have confidence. You have to be loud. You have to take ownership. And then also you got to coach. You got to figure out what is that quick cue that actually works for a vast majority of people to get them sitting into a better squat position, or, whatever it might be, hinging better. Like, I think there's certainly value in it. And while you're building a business, it can be absolutely valuable too. But I don't like things to feel inauthentic. I think you should coach because you want to be a coach, and you want to be better at coaching.
Do you think that's the best way? Because you've talked before about the importance and maybe even the lost art of cueing movement and holding the bar on standards, understanding what they are. And like, a lot of patients plateau because we're sloppy. And we do you feel like coaching is the number one way to do that? Or if someone's not in a position to coach, do you have recommendations on how to get there?
If someone's not in a position to coach their client, you're saying, or like
no classes, or they don't have a CrossFit gym that needs a coach, or
Yeah. I mean, the barrier to entry to fitness coaching is pretty minimal. Which is why there's personal trainers and stuff all over the place. Like, if you really want to go that direction, you could. But also, I feel like we're, this is part of taking our ownership too, in that, we may not have a personal training certification, but we certainly have an elite certification of a doctorate of physical therapy to manage fitness and to prescribe fitness. So it's like, you're kind of opening the door that you could probably do whatever you want to do, and you got to go figure it out. But this is probably where the sweat equity sometimes is first. Like, go understand the thing as an athlete. What does it feel like? to squat, to load? What does it feel like to go through a terrible Metcon? And, you know, how is that row going to impact your ability, or how is the dumbbell going to impact your ability to hang onto this handle of the rower?
I'm really sorry about that.
The average person's like, I don't see why this is even an issue. But until you do the thing, you're like, oh, damn, I would never have thought my grip was going to blow out so much I couldn't row anymore on the rowing machine. Like, the only way you know those things is through experiencing them. So there is no, like, you know, you're going to eventually have to jump into the fire. You can't just kind of tip your toe into coaching. I think you can certainly wade into the waters of fitness and experience fitness from a lot of different perspectives, and that will open up some of your eyes to how to become a better coach too, just because you feel the thing, you understand the thing. But I see this all the time, and I don't think just loving fitness makes you a good coach either. Like, it's not that simple. So I just did a like a in-service for some coaches that I'm really closely connected with, and the whole point of it was, how can we continue to build our relationship as healthcare providers and as fitness professionals, and make sure that the experience for our mutual clientele continues to excel at the best level. And a lot of it for me was making sure that I do truly value what they can do, but reminding them to do the thing that they're meant to do really well too. Like, I'm asking these fitness coaches to own their own space. Like, you know, like, they're like, what happens when Johnny's got shoulder pain? And my first response is like, here's a little algorithm that you can use to decide how serious that is. But most of these people, if it's not a traumatic injury, it's on the low to moderate, on the serious side. So what can you do? Make sure you've done everything in the coaching sphere to be sure that it's not just a simple misunderstanding or dysfunction in movement pattern, because that's where I'm going to start. Like, I'm going to start doing what you
coaching
guys,
them out.
Coaching them out. Yeah. And so they were like that, you know, that's such a great reminder, because sometimes these fitness professionals, when it comes to pain and clientele, just as much as we're kind of sensitive, our profession sensitive to other professions, like stepping onto our toes and maybe we've done too much. I think the fitness professions often, like, many people are like, uh-oh, it hurts, I'm done, hands off, get them into the experts. But I think that mutual relationship could even be better. And at the end of the day, it's all about the name of fitness and pursuing health. And I think that's the best way to do it there. So they were pretty open to the idea of, what's the best thing that we can do, Joe, to help our clients when they're in pain? I said, coach. Like, just keep coaching and make sure you're doing that really, really well. And they're like, yeah, that's a good idea.
Dude, you said the same thing today in class, right? Like, man, do we want to get in there and find some impairments versus giving them one cue at a time, 4 to 5 times in a row, and seeing if you can't correct a movement, all of a sudden it's not a problem.
Yeah. Even if it's a 75% improvement, it's like, oh, dude, I can spin that so quickly to be like, man, if I had any major concerns, they are out the window. 75% better. That shift looks like it's almost gone. You tell me the pinch in the front of your hip is like minimal now compared to when it started. Am I concerned about your hip long term? Absolutely not. We haven't got rid of that 25% yet. Let's go back to the room and figure this out. Yeah.
To finish off that conversation about working with gyms, how do you wind up setting up the relationship? And I guess what I mean by that is, do you do workshops regularly? Do the coaches just know, hey, if I'm coaching someone, I can't coach them out of it, I'm just going to send them over to Joe? Do you set up a table and do screens after classes? What's the best way that your clinic has actually physically, mechanically come alongside these gyms to serve their members?
We've done all of it. Like, I workshops, when we talk about as a team, when I talk about my team, I'm like, dude, we got to do workshops because we have some really cool concepts that people deserve to have an opportunity to hear, especially when they're on that fence of like, am I really dealing with this problem? And like, I think it's our due diligence, our best of our ability to get out there in front of these people and these coaches and really provide some service. And really, when I do a workshop, part of me is like, I am literally just doing community service here. Like, I don't want patients from this. I want experience from this, and I want faces, and I want connections, and I don't really want it to turn into this huge salesy thing.
You're not counting conversions.
No, I'm not counting conversions.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that's because I don't care about them. Like, I think that if I'm really I think that what we've done better at is continually to foster the relationships with the people who are in charge at these gyms, the coaches and the owners, the people who are often seeing these people every single day. That's where the trust is. That person trusts their coach a whole lot more than they know me from nobody for 1 hour from a workshop. So they're going to go back to Coach A. Coach A is going to say, hey, like, I've been spending a lot of time around this person. We've seen our patients go to this place. This is the best place for you. So I'm looking at fostering deep relationships, true meaningful relationship with coaches and owners. I'm looking at providing value to their clientele because I think it's part of what in our profession, it's part of what I can do to like kind of give to the community. I think it's okay to give. Like, giving is a great thing sometimes. So I'm looking at just giving. And if I'm looking to filter people in and people out and try to find true success in terms of gaining clientele, we offer injury screens too. It's all about giving your time. And but with those injury screens, it's nice because you're taking a person who's one step closer to saying, I know I have a problem, that's why I'm coming to talk to you about this elbow issue. And then it's our job as a team to step up to deliver a great experience in that 15 or 20 minutes and make sure that if they truly do need us, that they know at the end of that 20 minutes, like, John, we got to figure this elbow out. It's not going to get better until we get on top of it. So I kind of look at it as deep root relationships with coaches and owners, community service, like in a way of providing workshops just to be like, we're here for you. Like, this is what we know about certain things. And if you can do a good job with that, people will value that. But I don't necessarily think like that they're going to walk out of there and make this note on a sticky note. So if I ever need physical therapy, Onward's the place to go. People are too busy. Are way too busy. Like, and if we're thinking that they're going to do that, you just haven't thought about being a human enough to know that, man, if I don't need it right now, it's gone. How many times we're on Instagram like, damn, I saw that one ad that one time, don't remember it. It wasn't because it wasn't a good product, probably. It was just like you didn't need it at that time. So I don't expect that people come to a workshop who may not need things at a certain time to then be like, oh, just sign me up just because I'm here. You might get 10, 20% of those people that come talk to you afterwards, and now it's your job to execute those conversations. But the injury screens, I feel like, are a great way to get people who are like onto that next phase of, I have an issue, I need to get it solved. And are we the right person to help you?
Joe, I think that intent behind that can't be overstated. Like, we always talk about give, ask, right? Like, people will always tell me, like, how do you know what field you should go into or what business you should start? I always tell them, do whatever you would do no matter what. Like, even if you didn't wind up you love that area so much that somehow you'd be involved. This is a great example for us. Like, no matter what we do professionally, we're going to try to give back to our communities to fight chronic disease and to build fitness. Yeah. We're going to coach the tennis team. These are not things that are just about getting patients. These are things that, like, we want to do for community service. This matters to us. I think that intent of, like, I'm sure we'll get some patients from this or whatever, but even if we don't, it's still a win for me. If you can go in with that mindset, the intent behind that is felt by the other party. Yeah. And it's hard to explain that. I can't measure that. But that's true. You know when someone's coming in for the wrong reasons, and you know when someone's coming in, like, even if this person doesn't get something out of it, they're glad they were here, and that's so different.
Yeah, I get that. That's awesome. I can't say it any better than that either. It's true. I think it's true. It's palpable. It's a feeling that we can get. Yeah, there's probably multiple ways to create these connections in the fitness, and I think that, experience and getting out there and figuring it out for yourself is great. It's just it's something that it is needed in our communities. Yeah. And, you got to step up and be the person that can start to blend that gap that we have right now between fitness and health. So.
Totally. Joe, I heard a couple things throughout the whole episode that I think it's important to recap because, again, I want everyone to have the success you've had in private practice. I want us to be saying, man, I've hired a bunch of people. Everybody's busy. Patients are thrilled to be coming in. Like, I want this so bad for our profession. And like you said, it comes down to relationships. But I think it's worth teasing out a few things we covered. And one of those, in each of these cases, it always started with a compliment. I think it's important to think about that. Whether it was the gal's shoes or the color of the car, whether it was Kevin killing it downstairs, man, these surgeries are doing great. Yeah. Whether it was the guy at the gym who is running these classes and you're saying, dude, you guys are crushing it over here. Like, I hear great things. It always seems to start with a connection of a compliment. Acknowledgement is the right word. Yeah. You're crushing it. Like, what a warm way to begin to create a connection with another human. Then there was the transparency, the communication, right? With the physician, right? Here's what I'm doing. Here's why I'm doing it. With the patient, owning your space. Here's why I'm going this direction. Trust me, I got you. With the coach, I'm not trying to be a fitness guru in town. I'm trying to do this. But again, it's transparency and communication. Mm-hmm. I think that series right there, opening up with that act of kindness, that acknowledgement, being willing to be assertive about what you do have to offer, but also communicating transparently. Like, when I look at your ability to build relationships and what we heard in that past 40 minutes, dude, those things really jump out at me.
Yeah, I rooted myself on that. I really do. And I enjoy the process. I enjoy the thing. It's a kind of just exciting to me to have a new person in my life and try this again and see. It's like, it almost seems foolproof after a while, but if we reflect on ourselves as a human, like, like, it's just weird when people acknowledge you. It just feels good. And it goes back to, this is where the podcast stuff comes in. Things I've listened to from, human development from ancient times till now. It's never not been true. Like, it's always been true that people we appreciate when people recognize us, and that's okay. It's not a selfish thing, and it can be simple. Like, literally, like, I got this stupid sports car that I got from, but you walk out, this thing's kind of cool. I'm like, Jeff thinks I'm cool. You don't even care about me, but like, it feels like that this rental car that I have is like, no, I just got, like, someone complimented me on it. I'm not going to drive it for 48 hours and be done, but it's like, in the moment, man, that's all that matters at that point. Yeah, it's so cool. It's undeniable. So.
Joe, do you have anything to share with the public? And I say this because when people say, why did you all start this long form podcast? A big part of my answer is because the profession needs to hear these stories of success. We're struggling a little bit. Like, I mean, I'm out there. Yeah. I've been in academia. I have a really good pulse on the profession, and I get worried when the level of pessimism gets to where it is right now. And yet I'm surrounded by all of you who are killing it. And I'm like, the masses that maybe aren't finding a road or are feeling they might not, and maybe even thinking about turning to a different one, I need them to hear these stories. And I think we did that in the past 40 minutes. But at the end of this episode, to all of those people who are maybe feeling a lot of clouds over their head or not in a spot they want to be, do you have any words of wisdom for where you are now to where they are now?
I'm glad you honed this in, because at first you just said, do you have anything you want to tell the public? And I was like, can we talk about pyramids or something? Because I got a lot of stuff to talk about those. It's a tough question, Jeff. I do think a lot of the things that we've talked about so far are truly the things that I believe in the most. But if you feel like you're in the profession, and if there was some reason you're like, man, I got to go into this profession, and then something happened where you're like, did I make a mistake? Don't stop there. Think about, is there something else I can do to make this profession what I believe it can be? Or can I at least do what I need to be doing for this profession? Whether or not it catches on in the masses, like I think I had a little bit of my truthful experience with physical therapy school, and everything was, year one was fine. It was what I expected. Year two, started to get to the clinic and stuff like that, get some rotations. And I'm like, wow, this is not what I want to do. Like this, I made the worst decision in my life. I'm $100,000 in, and this was not what I want to do. And truthfully, this is 100% truthful. You reached out to Grand Valley, said, I'm teaching in Traverse today. I have 2 free seats if any student wants it. For some reason, I was like, I'm going. I did. And I was like, no, it's not just, we're not stuck. Yep. You got to find the right people to be around and have a reason to do it. If you have a reason and there are people around you, you can make this successful. You can be what you want to be. And hopefully you gather attention and people are like, I need to be doing what this person's doing. I want to be just like them. And that's how growth happens. It's the PT 2.0. It's the build the army. It's let's the lock the shields. Everything that ICE has talked about after every big convention that we've been connected with. It's like, it's growing and growing and growing. It is working, but we have a huge country and a huge profession. It's going to take more time. So if you think you've made the wrong decision, but you know that you originally were getting into it for a specific reason, reflect on that reason, look around you for people who are doing, and find out what they're doing and say, how can I be just like them, and go after it. Like, you got to go do it. Lock your shields with the right people.
I love it. Dude, Joe, thank you so much.
Yeah, awesome, man. Great to have you.